Will Lowry, Mr. Seasoning Salt. Can you believe this? Let me say something to you. No, y'all know this is Beyond the Fairway podcast. We're here. But Will, Seasoning Salt, Dreadheaded Wonder. Yeah. If I told you that we would be recording our 100th episode of Beyond the Fairway podcast, would you have? I thought we'd be canceled by now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I done slipped up a couple times, said some E's and R's and some couple A's and shit. So I'm just saying, like I know we get here, Will.
I know I did. I thought we were gonna be canceled at 5, and then we made it to 12. I just knew we were gonna get canceled at 25. I mean, yeah, we see that's the thing. There's a big difference. I don't know if we're gonna be canceled or fired. I didn't know. The bet was it
feels the same. The same cortisol is released. It comes in the same.
That is true. Canceled, fired, or exiled. I don't know which one.
I like exile. It's got a little Moses to it. You know what I mean? A little Old Testament. It's kind of scary.
Look at you, Doug. I mean, did he climb the mountain for nothing? Look at you.
I did go to Lexington Christian Academy, so I have had Bible class.
The only Christian I think you knew was the guy that lived next to you in Gilbert, Arizona. Christian Heavens.
Okay,
that's the closest I thought you got to Christian in Heavens.
Don't challenge my knowledge of the book, Will. I just don't put it out there for everybody to see. I got it.
Well, speaking of challenges of books and knowledge, guy who, I don't know if he's Christian or not, but the Bible says abundance by the heart comes out through the mouth. And this man that we have as our guest on this 100th episode.
You want to go ahead and talk about it? We can't tell him who it is just yet.
Okay, I'll stop.
We got to talk about Swamp Ass before we...
Swamp ass Lucas.
Oh, swamp ass Glover.
Lucas swamp ass.
Look,
we talking about Glover, but it ain't Danny.
Hey, before I roast Lucas Glover, let me give him his flowers first.
Yeah, you got to.
Because 3 weeks ago, he was ranked 112th in the world. Now he's ranked like 3rd or 4th in the world after back-to-back wins.
3 weeks ago, nobody knew he won the U.S. Open.
Very true. People forgot when. Where was it? When did he do it? How
he snapped finger major. He won the
He won the 09
Avion. No, that's women's.
No, that's women's. He won the He won. I don't know what he won. He won it with a Sasquatch driver. I remember that. That's all I remember.
He won the Donna Shore. Oh no, that's women's too.
Cold blooded. But hey, let me tell you something. When I'm doing PGA Tour Live, Lucas Glover is one of the few players out there that is always loved. He's the most humble man. And I'm so happy for Lucas. He's gone through putting travails. He's like just I can't believe what 2 good weeks can do to your life in this game of golf.
117th to 30th in the world, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a jump.
That's a hop,
leap.
skip,
that's a leap.
And a jump.
That's not a jump. It's a leap.
That's a hop, skip, and a jump. And look, hold on. Before we got to keep the anticipation.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. Link Soul. We got to have another line for Lucas. Because now he's a world beater. He's a star. And y'all got him out there swamp-assed. I don't know if he needs a special towel, a diaper, a new pair of drawers. Well, I don't know what we got to do for Lucas. But he cannot be out there with the front just just gone.
I had flashback. I thought this dude was rocking Cutter and Buck. Like, I just knew this man had some Dockers. Like, I just knew. I swear to God, I went up to
spit all over on the screen.
I went up to my TV to try to change the channel. That's how much of a flash.
It was a awkward. Like, you see Amanda in the interview, she was kind of like over here, like. She had that on her face, like ew,
like I know you stink, like I just know you stink. But either way, you can stink with money. Made 3.6 mil,
3.6. Give me my ducats.
I'll smell whatever.
All right, well now we got that out the way.
Yeah, so we got out the way. Back-to-back wins. I mean, it's something about these playoffs where people just win back-to-back wins.
I feel like we just had a win. I feel like we have a win coming up now.
Yeah. We had a great conversation with multi-Grammy nominated, often imitated but never duplicated. He is from the trap, thug motivator, a.k.a. Jeezy Jenkins, a.k.a. Jeezy, a.k.a. Young Jeezy, a.k.a.
Adversity for Sale. aka
he got a
author.
memoir out. Adversity for Sale, and he is he's a GOAT in my eyes now, man. So we hope you guys enjoy this conversation that Doug and I had with the GOAT, Jeezy Jenkins, and I hope you enjoy.
Beyond the Fairway, man, welcomes in the man, the myth, the legend. He's got a book out, Adversity for Sale. Jay Jenkins, we call him Jeezy. What's up, Snowman?
Yes, sir. Right here, baby. Adversity for Sale.
Yeah, we got to get into that Adversity for Sale. We're gonna touch a lot of things in this time, man. I'm excited. Will, do I still sound like Brian Gumbo? I'm trying to not go up.
This is the least Brian Gumbo you sound because you got a rapper on here. But I'm gonna mess with you for a little bit.
All right, go ahead. I see what it is. But let's get into it because I know you're on a book tour. You're in Detroit right now. You've had a lot of shit going on in the last few months leading up to this. We're gonna get to the book, and I promise you that. But what I need to understand is how is the tour? Like you talking to everybody. You've been on Good Morning America, the Today Show, Breakfast Club. You've been everywhere. But what's a book tour like for those?
Basically, what he's saying. What's that Arthur energy like? That's what I want to know.
It's just different. I've done this, throughout my career on the music side, and the questions are a little more dark. You know what I'm saying, on the artist side, because culturally, there's a lot of things going on in that world that people are intrigued about, that they just want to understand, right? And with the book tour, by it being the type of book it is, the energy is different because now they're curious. Why did this happen to you? Like why are you different from everybody else? And why are you still here? So it's more, the book tour is more aspirational. I can't front. It's like, it's lighter. I've done this, decades on. And when you're out here and you're talking about, one of your friends that just died that everybody knew, and you got to discuss how when you and Nipsey's hustle relationship was, and what's this, and why does this continue to happen to you guys? It's just different because they're not looking at you from the lens of you have common sense as well. Because a lot of people don't know Nipsey Hussle's probably one of the smartest people I knew. You know what I'm saying? But they always looked at him as a rapper, and we didn't get to see his impact and his power until he was not here anymore. I'm quite sure he could have wrote a few books. Matter of fact, Nipsey was one of the only other guys in the business that I exchanged books with all the time.
Really?
Yeah, he's a comment like, you read this? What do you think about that? We talk about chapters here and there. But Nipsey was the first person to tell me about Bitcoin. I thought he was crazy.
Really?
But what I'm saying is, it's a group of us that like to actually build like that because we come from, just positions of leadership. So to answer your question, when people look at music that don't understand it, they ask, somewhat ignorant questions.
What would you say this book, writing this book, is somewhat form of therapy for you?
Oh, for sure, 1,000%. There's a lot of things in this book that I had, that I was writing about that I didn't deal with, that I felt like I had dealt with, just throughout my career, throughout my life. And as I was writing the book, it was a lot of work that I still had to do.
So when and I'm big on mental health.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like I'm huge on, especially the trauma I had 3 years ago, losing my mother, and Doug, he lost his mother a decade back. But and what I want to know is, like, what is the process of dealing with that drama? Because obviously,
you had to bottle it up too, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Because me, like, my process was, getting a therapist, crying. Like, right. Jeezy, do you cry? Do you cry at all?
Man, I ain't cried since Pac died, bro. I mean, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably the last time I remember even feeling those type of emotions. That's a thing. Like, when we talk about mental health, it's like we didn't have the wording for
very
like,
true.
I talk about it a lot in the book. It's like I was probably depressed for 15 years and didn't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you wasn't allowed to be. You wasn't allowed to be depressed. You a black man. Like, you can't be depressed.
Yeah.
You can't be sad. You can't have anxiety.
Not only that,
especially your occupation.
You're a black man and you Jeezy. Ain't no way in the hell you can go in there and tell somebody, I'm not. And a lot of that was I didn't know what anxiety was. You know what I'm saying? I was going through it. And post-traumatic stress is just like, childhood things. It was childhood things already there. And as I went into my young adulthood and you asked me about crying, it's like after you lose, hundreds of people, like literally, you just become numb, right? And you don't know how to feel. There's a defense mechanism. And I had to learn that and I talk about a lot in the book, a lot of that stuff doesn't serve me in my adulthood, but it served me when I was in my young adulthood because that's how I was coping, right? And then as you start to have, real friends and you have family, you have kids, it just started changing. Just like, hold on, what's going on with me? Let me peel back the layers and understand why I'm not connecting here. And the reason why, I'm taking off the mask and taking off the armor to explain this to my brothers is because a lot of us isolate ourselves because we don't know how to deal with all this stuff, right? And the reason why I wrote the book is because people would have thought I was on top of the world, but it was so much turmoil going on.
Yeah.
I was just going through the motions of trying to be a star, but I was probably at the lowest point of my life, not financially, of course, but as far as being a man and a human being, like I was in the fire. And it's like, I don't think people understand that. And that's why the book is called Adversity for Sale, because, even when you thought I was on the top, even when you thought I was on top of the world was on top of me.
Yeah. And it's funny, you made that very, very apparent in the book. And I do want to take a moment to just talk about kind of a scene from the book that I thought was powerful. Because I've had the same conversation with Will, and you've just met us, but Will is producing, he's broadcasting, he's writing shows, he's writing movies, he's making a cartoon, he's running a junior golf tour, and similar to how T.I. pulled you to the side at Patchwork, I told Will, I said, yo, bro, like, you can't do all this shit. Like, you can't do all this shit if you're trying to be good at something. Now, in the book, you mentioned when T.I. pulled you off to the side, you had about $2 million sitting in the booth. Yeah. I just want to give that visual to the listeners out there. He got pulled out with $2 million in the booth.
Hey, that's golf listeners. That's what makes it so important. It's golf listeners. Damn it.
Let's say for the golf listeners so they understand. Yeah. $2 million in cash, non-taxed.
Big rubber tip money.
Right. Rubber bands and stacks and duffel bags, whatever you have.
But as I've talked to Will about, I want to talk to you about this T.I. scene because it felt like that was the first time like a real nigga kind of pulled you to the side, or somebody that was like a fan or wanted to see you progress to kind of say, hey, bro, you can't be trapping and rapping and get to where, back in the day, you saw yourself wearing the 3-piece suits. You saw yourself with the Rollie and the APs and the blue Lambos. Like, how did you receive that information from T.I.?
It was hard to receive because I didn't think it would come from somebody who I was just building a relationship with. But if you know anything about T.I. and myself, that's like my brother. We've been through a lot together. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize it then because my relationships were one-off. I was in the streets, so I really wasn't trying to get close to anyone, right? And I wasn't trying to build with anyone on the relationship part because I had got burnt so much by people. And I went through so much. It was unreal. So for him to pull me to the side, I mean, at first I was skeptical because I didn't understand why somebody would be trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? I've never been helped before. Like, so it's like, why would you try to do this for me? And in my first mind, selfishly, because I was that type of person, was, well, maybe he's trying to trick me so he can make more money.
Yeah.
My first mind. And I went home, and I'll never forget it. I used to have, back then we was using Nextel Church. That's how we was conducting ourselves. So we went
sidekicks.
Well, the church, because they had to walk and talk.
Yeah, walk and talkie.
And you don't want to talk, like, because, if they can't get a walkie-talkie conversation and tap it, right?
Fair.
So that's, and I had I had like 3 of them at one time, any given times I had more, and I just remember like just laying in my bed and I used to wake up and have these nightmares about me becoming this star. Right when I was going to become a star, I was still in the streets and I got caught. And it was like, I used to wake up like a sweat, like it was so real to me. And this was like every night. I used to hate to go to sleep because of this. And one morning I woke up out of one of those sweats and I was just like, man, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. You can't be, you gotta do something. And what you telling Will, like you gotta do that one thing great. Right. And mind you, I'm not like a rapper. So it's just like, I'm just doing something that I love. So I threw the phones away. mind you, the people that I was dealing with was rather happy because they still owed me money and everything in the street. Like I still had money in the street, but I figured if I went and got the money, or I still stayed in contact with them, that I wouldn't walk away from what I was needing to walk away from and go cold turkey. So now I'm in a situation where I still got real bills because I'm still living a real life.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some mixtapes popping, but I'm not getting like Dr. Dre money. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to depend on myself. Probably one of the scariest moments in my life because now I'm going to take care of my mom, my sister, my fam, my son at the time, and take care of myself with this skill set that I'm supposed to have that I know I don't really have, right? Because I've been in the studio with Tip and Fabulous and all of them. At this point, I'm going like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
You know, my vocabulary ain't even that big. You understand?
Right.
I dropped out in the 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? I got 5th grade education. I got my GED when I was in boot camp. So I'm thinking about all the odds I'm up against, and I was just like, yo, you just gotta do it. And what they say is on the other side of fear is freedom, because it was something that I had to really had to say, you gonna do this or not, and I did everything I could in my power, and that's why the book is telling you like it wasn't easy even after that decision, right? Because now it's just like if this don't work, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What we gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so,
packs.
Yeah.
and off the Tip, because he's one of the few people. Of course, more people in my life have came around that really keep it real and keep it genuinely honest with me, and I wasn't used to that. But he's probably one of the first people that ever told me something that changed my life, right, and made me look at life differently. And the whole thing was, they said God always sends you the right messenger when it's time. I don't think I would have took that from somebody in the streets because I wouldn't have knew how to. But the fact that he was already established, he's telling me I got talent. I'm like, is he gassing me? Like, I'm trying to figure out all things, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, man, maybe he's genuine. And I've learned that in the last 20 years, one of the most genuine people I know. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he still call me to this day when something go crazy, be like, hey, bro, we gotta talk. But now I call him too. When he go left, I'll be like, hey, man, come on, let's sit down.
No, see, Will don't listen to me like that. So
see, I don't, because I believe that they say, jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one. That's the full quote. Right. That's how it really works. That's how I live. But I want to know, like, Jeezy, when you talk about, when Tip pulled you aside and he brought that vulnerability out of you to listen, to realize this guy's not coming from a different place. How are you? I know we have the book, but what are some of the ways that you can talk to that next young man or young woman who may be resentful for some of the words you have to say, but you can say, hey, I'm coming from a place of experience that can kind of help you.
I think the connect is, man, you'd be surprised how many, guys I've reached out to and try to talk to them. And I kind of feel like it's something culturally, like a disconnect with us. Because even at that point, I felt like I was successful. So I'm like, who are you to try to tell me? I'm a leader. I'm leading men at this point. It's like everybody doing what I say. So how are you going to come in and tell me what I should change or what should do? That's what I took at first. So I notice now that when I'm talking to, the next generation, it's a little more difficult because you clean and you button up now and you don't even look like the person that I thought I knew. So how you going to relate to me? And my thing is, when you're in this game and you've been in it for 20 years and you're still evolving, when you look, like I would listen to what Jeezy had to say, right? Because I'm looking at him, I'm going, he was my mentor back then and I didn't even know him. Now I'm sitting in the room with him. Like, how am I not going to take a page out of his book? Because I'm watching what he's doing and I'm understanding, like, okay, this guy's evolving. Like, he's not playing around. Like, he's going to live a different type of life, right? And I would relate that to, being a basketball player and being in the locker room with Magic Johnson and having a conversation with him and not taking any gain from that and looking at his life now and going, what did I miss? Because he's still Magic Johnson. He's still living, and he's on another level. But where I could have asked that information, I felt, and this is what it's going to break down to, it's basically ego, right? Because our ego is so big when we have such small success that we don't think nobody else can add any value to us. And that's where we're wrong because, when when you live in this life, there are gonna be things that you're not gonna understand. Like, you know, and I had instances where people that I would have never expect tap me on the shoulder, like, you know what the problem is? You got the wrong lawyer. I'm like, really? Tell me about it. And changed my life. You know what the problem is? I don't ever count on name. I'm just like, really? And I'm starting to take heed to this and make changes. These are people that are worth billions of dollars. Like, how am I going to go against what the information that they're giving me? Like, and again, I think it's ego, bro. And it is so sad because I'm not just saying this. Like, a lot of these guys, man, I sit down with them 1 week and then the next week they're gone, they're dead. I'm just like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Or they're in prison, and you just sitting there like, man, like, it hurts.
When you talk about ego and you talk about leadership, I mean, bro, I felt like I knew you, but ever since the book dropped, there's a whole another side I had to get to know who you were, and I have to admit, like you damn near like my mentor now, right? You don't know, but you are, but and I'm asking this from me. I don't care about the golf audience. I don't care about the hip hop audience. What is your leadership style like?
Well, my thing is, and I've been this way since I was a kid, like what I would do was I'm a sponge, right? And I'm a visionary and a disruptor. I understand that. That was my gift at a young age. That's what got me here. And I've never been afraid to ask questions. So I just had to get around and get in circles where I could ask questions, even from the streets. So imagine me being in the streets and talking to the guys that was really running the streets and just understanding and building a rapport with them so that they don't feel like I'm a threat and they want to give me information. So I took that style from the streets and took it into the boardrooms, into the music industry, and some of my peers there was the Sean Combs and the Jay-Z's and the L.A. Reids and all these people that make things move. And I'm just asking questions and building a rapport. And then when it got from there, and the change that you're starting to say that you saw it happen was, okay, I got this music success. I'm doing great in business. My real estate game is great, but I don't think that I'm a great person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'm the best version of myself that I could be. So where's that at? So now I'm looking and I'm finding different mentors, and I'm not ashamed to say mentors.
Right.
So now I'm talking to the TD Jakes. I'm talking to the Robert Greens. I'm talking to the John Maxwells of the world. I'm talking to the Steve Harveys. I'm talking to you name it. Like these are I'm talking to the Lewis Howes and all these people that I'm befriending, and they're giving me all this information, and they're allowing me to understand that you got to pull the layers off and be transparent and vulnerable, because that's the only way you're going to be able to connect to your people. Because before that, I was so standoffish. All they knew was who I was as an artist. Like, they didn't know my heart. They didn't know that I want to help. They didn't know that I'm a real dude. They didn't know that, I know real things. So if you ask me what my style is, and it's always been, is to go get all the information I can and figure out how to put in whatever art form, whether it be a book or whether it be an album, to give it back to the culture.
Are you comfortable in a boardroom? And I say that because I have a different look when I'm in this golf space. Not well respected when it comes to, I'm not the most smartest guy in the world, but I do have a vision. I see it from the beginning. Are you comfortable in the boardroom yet?
I'm boardroom is like being on the block. It's all the same, bro.
How so?
Because on the block, the police can hit, the feds can hit, the other gang can come through, spray the block, all that. I'm cool as a ice cube because I understand all that. So when it is like being a Navy SEAL, bro. If it pop off, I'm the calmest person in the room. So when you go in those boardrooms and these people are going through their emotion, I'm not connected to this emotion. My skill set is to solve problems. Put it in front of me. Okay, well, let's just try. I'm going to simplify it for you. This is what we're going to do, and this is why. You know how many companies or things that I've been a part of, and I sat in that room and people look at me like, wow, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Because I came from a hostile environment and I had to think quick and I had to come up with solutions fast, because you know why? It's going to cost people their life or their freedom. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that going into a boardroom is, these people panic in their mind, it's going to cost them their life or the way they're living, because the deal might not go down, something might happen. But I'm going to be the guy in the room to go, okay, look.
Yeah, because Will on the other side, he the emotional cat.
Right.
Getting there.
No, I'll bust a tear.
We'll be like, what you mean? What you mean you won't green light my show? Like it's the best show you can.
The thing I learned is you can't make good decisions when you're in your emotions. You cannot.
Will.
That is true.
You
Will.
cannot make good decisions.
You know what? This ain't gonna be about no Will Lowry show. I know that.
Hold on, but
Go
look.
ahead.
The worst decisions I ever made when I was emotional about it.
Yeah. And you put that in the book. Yeah. And people got to read the book
The
to see
worst.
that situation.
The worst.
That is
And
true.
this the thing is like when the pressure is on, and that's the thing about adversity for sale. The title is like, okay, adversity for sale. I'm not telling you about my success. I'm telling you about the times that I lost. And the caveat to that is you gotta believe, because every time I was in these situations, I was like, I believe in my mind and my heart that I'm gonna make it through this and I'm gonna find a way. Right? I'm gonna find a way, and that's the thing. That's what that adversity is about. It's so much knowledge. It's so much data in the loss. There's so much data in there. It's just like you want to. By the way, I'll go sit down with these people, and I'll take them out to lunch or dinner, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna pay for it, and I'm gonna have 7 questions that I already thought about, that I've been thinking about, and it could be about my life, what my friends are going through, or what I need to do business-wise, and I'm gonna go out and have coffee or tea with these people, and I'm gonna have a conversation. And when I walk away, I'm gonna walk away with more than what I came. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, let me say this, because I don't think you realized you wrote a mental or a sports psychology book for golf when you wrote Adversity for Sale. Let me tell you that right now, because I read this book and was like, damn, that's what I should have done on that par 5 last week, because you know what, I should have not gave that dude my address, because now he keeps sending stuff I ain't gonna wear. So that's one thing I took. I ain't giving my address to nobody. You want to send me something, G? I got a damn P.O. box you can send the shit to.
Yes.
But look, you talked about all these people you're in the room with. You know, and you mentioned Steve Harvey, great friend of Will's. I haven't met him yet. He's ducking me, but it's cool, Steve. I'm coming.
Yeah.
So when you get into these rooms, because I did a little Google search. You're from Hawkinsville, Georgia. In Hawkinsville, Georgia, from the corner of Martin Luther King and Poplar, there's a golf course called Southern Hills Country Club that's 3.8 miles away. Thought you'd find that impressive. Now,
I've never seen it.
Hey, we growing the damn game today. That's what it's about right now.
But what I'm saying is, as you're in these rooms and you are asking these questions, because I saw you at the Khaled event, and I'm gonna follow up with that here in a few. How the hell, I was gonna cuss. How the hell does Jeezy from the block, flipping chickens, rapping, go to the boardroom? Forget the boardroom. We already talked about that. How the hell do you get to the golf course? Like that's like seeing you play golf is like I'm finally cool. I've been a nerd my whole life.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Finally,
me getting my ass beat after school is finally paying off right now.
So let me tell you. So when I was young, and you mentioned it earlier, I saw myself in 3-piece suit, plain Jane watch, plain Jane wedding band, good skin, the whole thing. That was my vision of myself. That's where I wanted to be, and I equated everything with success around that, right? And one of the things that I always looked at and I was fascinated about was golf, because it's all the elements of success to me, right? Because it's like they used to tell me back in the day, if anybody can sit down and have a good glass of wine or a bottle of wine, they got time. You see somebody sitting down smoking their favorite cigar, they got time. That tells me one thing: they've done very well for themselves. That's a representation of that. If you see somebody go on that golf course and they spend 4 hours out there on 18 holes, they got time. But not only do they got time, they're out there fellowshipping and building with other people that have time. And I started to understand that. I'm going like, wow, and it's a different sign of success, because we're all out there and we're competing, because you can't beat the course. You already know that, right? But you're competing in a gentleman-like way. You're showing people how your hand-eye foot coordination works, right? And you're out there and you're playing this game while you're building with somebody. Now, it's one thing to go and sit down and eat and have a dinner or somebody, but you're out there playing golf. Now you get the chance to see what kind of music they like, what their families like, what their careers like, what deals they got on the table, what their aspirations are, what they want to do, and they get to do the same thing for you. And you'll be surprised, like every time I'm out there on that golf course, I meet good brothers, and we end up building and networking and resourcing.
We right here. See, when we playing,
we say, I say all the time, like golf. I mean, and Jeezy, I take you as a spiritual individual, bro.
For sure.
And golf is the closest thing to religion that I know of, right?
Wow.
And like how have you
Don't go that far.
huh? You wouldn't go that far? I tell you this. The more you play
Tournament
this
golf.
game.
Tournament golf.
Hold on, no. The more you play this, oh yeah, you might be right. Tournament golf. But the more you play this game, you're gonna realize that you're gonna have a battle with self-confidence.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, how can I get this golf? You're gonna have inner talks with yourself. Oh, but I'm saying you're gonna have inner talks with yourself. You're gonna you're gonna develop a self-positive concept about yourself. And I really kind of equate that to golf. Like I mean, in real life experiences. Like if I knew what made me tick at a younger age, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys.
Right.
But look, hold on.
Right though, because I've seen people out there, you know, them like a book. I was out the other day. I was playing with one of my guys. He normally talks a good game, and you know, we conversating. He wasn't having a good day. He was quiet. I was like, right. He's a calm guy. I was like, you all right?
Yeah,
that's me. That's me. That's me right there.
He does need to go talk to himself a little more. That's how it is.
And
hey, but hold on.
Like, to be honest with you, like ever since my life kind of took off and it's gone, like I've been on the go, but like being out there on the golf course and getting in your golf cart and riding and catching that fresh air and just getting the breeze and just feeling the air and being free. It's just a different ball game, bro. Like, so I can see the peace. Yeah, I can see the peace in that for sure.
But I got to talk to you about this full circle moment because you talk about it in the book, and I want to touch it because I know you on a tour, and I got like 4 minutes, so I got to get this in and out. You was in the club, in the back room of the club. Khaled was spinning right when you was on the come up, and I think the book says you was with Fabulous, and Khaled hands Fabo the mic, and you say, "Let me get on." Khaled looked at you like, who the hell are you to touch this mic right now? I want to talk about that moment, but I also want to talk about how now both of you guys are now into this golf space, and Khaled is literally the biggest golf influencer in the game right now. But I want to kind of see this full circle moment because it was you and Khaled. He looked at you like, get the hell off this mic, and now you at his golf tournament some years later.
Well, the thing is always like, okay, so real quick, there was a club in Miami. I think it was called Amnesia. It was like this big premier club. It had no ceiling. So when you walked in, it was just like, you know, it was different. It was tropical. And we used to go to that club all the time because it was like the premier club. But we didn't know that in the right, with the upstairs to the left, there was another smaller club called Privé. And one day I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, yo, I'll be back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And the security guard took me up there. He said, this is a closer bathroom. And I went up there and it was like lit. And I went back downstairs like, it was a whole nother party up there. So all 300 of us went upstairs and now we just standing around. There's nowhere to stand. We're standing on the bar, all type of stuff. And Khaled was like, and Khaled was spinning. He was like, Fabulous in the house. Everybody went crazy. He gave Fab the mic. Fab performed. Whole crowd went crazy. Now, mind you, me and Fab been hanging out because he been in Atlanta. So we are cool now. And I think I did Do the Damn Thing, and he had Breathe and all that. So we was like cool. We was like building. And I was standing beside Fabulous. And then Khaled was like, and he got the mic back. And Khaled was like, yo, who this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I would have paid to see that moment.
And it was like a standoff. And Fab got the mic back, and he gave me the mic. And then somebody from my team was over there and gave him the record. I think was on a CD or something because of CDs back then. And I had this record with Bun B called Over Here. And he was like, you know, whatever, I'll play it. And hit play. And what happened was everybody that came from downstairs was really from Atlanta as well. So it was like strippers.
Yeah.
And the song was so big in Atlanta because
strippers and golfers with you.
All that. And the roof blew off. And I just, you know, Khaled, he was just like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, and then he was like, oh yeah, okay, boom, boom. And we kind of topped it up. Khaled ended up being one of my, you know, that's my brother. Like I love Khaled. And even when I was down there with him for the golf tournament, I was just like, bro, you know, I salute you because you're not afraid. Like, you know, a lot of times they try to box us in and tell us what we can't do. But the way you're bringing this golf into our culture, you make people feel comfortable about something else that they want to experience.
That's what it is, man.
In a situation where, like, we can't do it. Now, mind you, the golf course is different when we're out there.
It might sound different, might smell a little different.
The transfuses are spiked a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different.
Our golf carts maybe a little different and bouncy a little bit.
That's it. That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
But what's next on the horizon for you when it comes to golf? You got golf tournament, charity golf tournaments you're doing. What you got going on?
I just really been. I'm gonna be a part of a couple of golf tournaments that the guys reached out. Different people. And to be honest with you, like I go play with my friends and personally, but I love the golf tournaments better because it's almost an instant fellowship when they team you up with these guys. You always end up meeting some different people, and that's an experience I never really got a chance to experience coming from the streets. It's like I never go nowhere and I'm gonna run into strangers. Like I just don't know how to move like that. So if somebody to put me in a team or a group with 3 other individuals I don't know, and I get a chance to meet with them and chop it up and build, man, it's just fascinating, bro. People are dope, and you just sit down and hear their stories. Like, damn, man, that's I never thought about it like that.
It's so funny. Like Doug and I, we consider ourselves ambassadors and trying to grow the game, especially for kids from our community. That is the point that we're trying to get right there. That golf is a vehicle that you can meet and greet people is culture connection, social connection, and serve as connected capital as well. So that's huge, bro. But
and Jeezy,
go ahead.
We can't let him out of here, Will. We got to do what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to send Jeezy out the right way. Jeezy, we call it Rap Foursome right here on Beyond the Fairway podcast, Golf Channel NBC. There's that Brian Gumble voice, Will. There you go.
He's back.
So, Jeezy, you about to go play golf with 4 rappers. It's you and 4 rappers. I need to know, dead or alive, they don't have to play golf. Don't matter. I want to know who you pulling up to the course with.
So just 4 rappers, no NBA players.
4 rappers and you.
Yes, 5 ball.
I got to go with Khaled. He's credible.
Duh.
He's credible. You know who else? I seen it. I actually was like, okay, give it. Quavo was all right. I ain't going to front.
That's Quavo, all right. All right, what?
Quavo.
I saw his game. He's okay.
He's okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to bring his ass in here next. All right. Quavo. All right.
Monkey wrench. Didn't expect that.
Oh, man, golf. I don't know who the last person would be, man. I mean,
they don't have to play golf. They don't have to play golf.
Just anybody.
It's just
okay. I thought it was a game.
No. Just 4 rappers you would play golf with.
Oh, man. I mean, shit. I got a lot of stuff I need to talk to Hov about, man. We got.
There you go.
So let's go and bring him out there so we can, you know what I'm saying, chop it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's 3. No, that's 4.
That's 3. We got Quavo, Khaled, Jay.
Okay. Man. Wow.
You know what? I'm gonna answer it for you because I know who you love and who you respect. You talked about him earlier. You gonna bring Pac with you? I know you are.
Yeah. No. If you said that, it'd be Pac all the way around.
Pac, and Pac. Hey, Jeezy, man, we can't thank you enough. Hey, our listeners out there, go get it. Adversity for sale. Jeezy, thank you for the copies, man. We appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
And by the way, the books everywhere. Books are sold right now, and if you don't got time to read the book, I did do the audio version myself, so you can get it on Audibles, Apple Books, or Amazon.
Does it have ad libs on it too on the audio book? You got onomatopoeias on the video version. Hey man, Jay, we appreciate you. I might not be a thug, but I'm motivated. I'm just saying.
I was a fake thug and motivated.
So you fake motivated.
I was motivated, but I realized I didn't want to be motivated being a fake thug. So yeah.
Let me tell you this. Imagine Jeezy's on a book tour. You talked about it. He's in Detroit. We had a chance to just catch up with him. I felt like he wanted to stay and hang with us. I did. I kind of felt like we was rushing him out because his man's was like, "You only got 30." We took every second of that 30. I
sure did. But I kind of think, shout out to his manager Franklin on his team. Franklin gave us the preliminary, but I felt like, Doug, that's what we do. We make people feel comfortable, and I really felt like we could got an extra 3.5 minutes out of it. I really do because that's what this thing is all about. Golf people talk to golf people. Hip hop people talk to hip hop people. This right here is a cultural milestone, cultural touch point. Cultures are intersecting right here, and we had to make sure the golf world know about Jeezy and how fascinated and how much of an entrepreneur this guy is.
I'm just impressed how much of the notes that you read, because it really sounded like you read the book cover to cover. It like you had me fooled. I know good and well you didn't read the book. I'm gonna tell you right now. I read the book. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a solid book. This is something you should go out and buy. Will and I will be giving out 2 copies of Adversity for Sale, written by Jeezy Jenkins. Great book, great read. And Will, you a great notes absorber, because you had me fooled, cuz.
I read the book, the front cover and the back cover. I read the book, and I watched a lot of Jeezy interviews. But I felt like I know him through his music, so I ain't had to read a book. But I got to probably all seriousness. I think I got to what did I get to? The Greatest Snow on Earth, which was like the 100th page or something. That's what.
Hey, that's, you know what, I'm impressed.
I mean, I just got back in town yesterday, and then when I saw the book here, I was like, had to dive in. So 100 pages in a 3-hour setting is huge for me.
Well, we got the book
didn't go
2 weeks ago. Got the book 2 weeks ago. The book is in our email, just so you know. And the attachments that Chanel sent, we had all the book. We had notes, press release. We had pictures of the book.
I'm not dope on my tech savvy. I just know I'd rather have something tangible I can feel.
Savvy,
and I just got it. So
you post the most interesting Instagram stuff in the last 2 weeks I've ever seen. Which now I know it's somebody else posting that shit, because if you doing that and not tech savvy to read an email, brother.
I'll never tell.
Whatever. What's your biggest takeaway from talking to Jeezy, man?
I think, what I really liked is that, when he said he saw the end from the beginning kind of way, which is one of the kind of chapters in his book. I like the fact that, he has a plan to, if somebody else that he has the opportunity to speak with that, similar identifies as him when it comes to, being a little standoffish or not willing to accept, how can this be me, that somebody willing to give me some type of advice like T.I. did to him. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that he's equipped now to give that advice to somebody else.
Yeah, thoroughly equipped.
He can speak the language, and not just just tell that person, but he can speak the language and have the ability to give that individual advice. And there's so many individuals out there like him that was like him, and that are like him currently. And I'm glad that he can somewhat be the ringleader of that. He can direct that.
A lot of themes in this book. A lot of themes. If I had to kind of break it down, I took some notes. If I'm talking to you, Will, seeing it from the beginning, like you just talked about, one of the themes that I wrote down, having a plan. But it's the pieces that I really thought were interesting, and even talking with him, we kind of saw some of that vulnerability that he displays in the book. But the hustle, the anxiety, the depression, mental health, mental awareness, suppression of feelings and anxiety. Like, there's a lot of things that, given the way he brought himself up, he was out there in the streets hustling, slanging, and those things come with that. He makes the wrong move, he's gone, right? And
absolutely.
He's a very calculated brother, man, and shout out to the golfer. And it's funny, he saw himself playing golf in the 3-piece suit. I didn't get a chance to talk about the Rolex he had on. I thought he was gonna have an Audemars on. I'm just saying, because
hey, hold on, you're a watch guy. What is the watch that's in the cover? This front cover.
That is an Audemars Piaget. That's that AP. That's that rose gold AP chronograph. That watch is costs more than a lot of people's houses.
And golf memberships.
Yeah, that's about. It depends on kind of where and who you get it from, but off the shelf, off the rack, I'm gonna go ahead and say tentatively that's about between 160 and 220,000
pesos.
100,000. That's not a cheap watch. You gotta be somebody to have that watch. Matter of fact, except Wesley Bryant has one, but he was sponsored, so that was part of the deal. So I'm just saying,
gotcha.
Bring it back to golf. Hey, man, I'm be honest with you, man. We've done a lot. We've talked to a lot of people, Will, and I'm so proud of us. Yeah. I'm proud of us because people see us jump on the ones and the twos. We get on here and we talk. We have fun. We frolic. But there's a lot of work and a lot of networking and a lot of I got to talk to this person
Behind
to
the
get to this
scenes.
person. There's a lot behind the scenes, man. And for
BTS.
us to, we didn't think we were going to have a season 3. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest with the audience. We didn't think we'd get here. And the fact that our 100th episode was punctuated by one of my favorite sounds, one of my favorite rappers. I got to be honest. I was getting a little like, not, I wouldn't say starstruck. I don't get starstruck, but I was hyped. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Talking to Jeezy,
absolutely.
like that's a dude whose music I listened to when I was at the country club.
Mm-hmm.
I had snuck on, of course. That's who I warmed up to. Standing ovation that we heard, and we're gonna play it all this episode. That's like my theme music. That's how I feel. Get off your mother freaking feet when I get in the room. Give me a standing O. That's how I wanted life to go. And I don't know how to describe kind of how I feel about all this right now. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm blessed. We're fortunate. And like I told Molly Solomon in the group text this morning when she thanked us, man, I'm just happy I get to do all this with my best friend, dog. That's how I am right now.
Absolutely. And when Molly, shout out to Molly Solomon, executive at NBC. I don't know, NBC Golf, NBC Sports.
She was executive producer for Golf Channel.
Golf Channel.
She's now over.
Now she elevated
NBC Sports and Olympic coverage, et cetera, et cetera.
And shout out to Molly Solomon for giving this opportunity. When I asked you to do, I knew you're the right man for the job because I can't do what you do. When it comes to being the straw that stirs the drink, that is all you, brother. I can't do what you do.
Drink out.
I try, but we're here at 100, man, and every day we feel like we're about to be canceled. So I hope we can get up to another 100. I don't know, but either way, man, this is an experience that I will remember forever. I have grown.
Hey, stop talking like that. You talking like this is an obituary for the show. No, we still got some more episodes, and I'm still vying for another season. Hold on, don't go there.
Yeah, okay, I digress. No. And we still have some people. You know what? And Doug, the DMs are lit right now.
DMs
trying to get on.
Yeah,
the DMs are lit, which is awesome, a blessing.
Man. It is. The book's called Adversity for Sale. Jeezy J. Jenkins. Shout out to Jeezy coming through. Shout out to Lucas Glover, back-to-back wins. Kobe for holding us down.
Hold on. Let me get a shout out to those underrated.
Go ahead.
Tour kids too. Shout out to the underrated tour kids that just qualified to play in the Curry Cup, which is in Staff's backyard at Lake Merced. I will read out the names, but I'll wait till next week. Say what?
I said that's tasty right there. Lake Merced.
Man, the new Lake Merced. This is the new Lake Merced, bro.
Gil Hans just went like this on Lake Merced.
Man, this is a new fresh scratch and sniff Lake Merced. So this is dope. So shout out to them. And this week we're leaving to go to the Curry Cup, and it's the who's who in golf as well. So congratulations to those kids from Underrated Tour for sure.
100 episodes. We are in the books. Kobe, run that music, please. Hey, Will. 100, baby.
100. Let's see if we get the 101.
We might not. We're gonna damn sure try though. Hey, we'll holler at y'all. Be sure to listen, like, follow, subscribe, do all that shit. Beyond the Fairway Golf Channel, NBC Sports. 100 episodes. We did it.